In the ancient days of Israel, when the people often strayed from God's ways, a time of darkness fell over the land. For 40 long years, the Israelites lived under the heavy oppression of the Philistines. Fear filled their days, hopelessness clouded their nights. But God, in His mercy, had a plan. In a small town there lived a barren woman, nameless in the scriptures, but destined for greatness through her son. One day, as she went about her tasks, an angel of the Lord appeared before her. His presence was dazzling, awe-inspiring. The angel spoke, "You are barren and childless, but you are going to conceive and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or fermented drink, and that you do not eat anything unclean. The boy will be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from the womb. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines." Trembling with wonder and joy, the woman rushed to tell her husband, Manoah. They prayed together, asking for further guidance. Again, the angel appeared, affirming the holy mission their future son would carry. In time, the promise was fulfilled. The woman bore a son and named him Samson, meaning like the sun. From his earliest days, the Spirit of the Lord stirred within him. As Samson grew, he became strong, unimaginably strong, a living sign that God had not abandoned His people. Years passed, and Samson, now a young man, ventured into the territory of the Philistines. There, he saw a woman in the town of Timnah, and his heart was captivated. He returned home and said to his parents, "I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife." His parents protested, "Isn't there an acceptable woman among your relatives or among our own people? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife?" But Samson insisted. What they didn't know was that this desire was part of God's larger plan, to confront the Philistines through Samson's life. On his way to arrange the marriage, Samson encountered a young lion. Without a weapon, with nothing but his bare hands, Samson tore the lion apart as easily as one might shred a piece of cloth. Yet he told no one about this feat. Later, passing by the lion's carcass, Samson noticed a swarm of bees and honey inside it. He scooped out the honey with his hands and ate it, even sharing some with his parents, but again, revealing nothing. At the wedding feast, Samson proposed a riddle to the Philistines. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. For days, the Philistines could not solve it. In desperation, they coerced Samson's bride to betray him and reveal the answer. Heartbroken and furious at the treachery, Samson stormed off, killing 30 Philistines to pay his debt for the wager. This act of vengeance ignited a deep hatred between Samson and the Philistines, setting off a cycle of violence that would define his life. Later, seeking to visit his wife, Samson discovered she had been given to another man. Enraged, he caught 300 foxes, tied them in pairs by their tails, attached torches, and set them loose through the Philistine fields, burning their crops, vineyards, and olive groves to ash. The Philistines retaliated by burning Samson's wife and her family to death. In response, Samson struck them down with great slaughter and fled to a cave in the rock of Etam. The Philistines, thirsting for revenge, demanded that the men of Judah hand Samson over. Reluctantly, 3,000 men from Judah went to find him. "Don't you realize the Philistines are rulers over us?" they pleaded. "What have you done to us?" Samson calmly replied, "I merely did to them what they did to me." He agreed to be bound, but warned them he must not be killed by his own people. As the Philistines came shouting toward him, the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon Samson. The ropes on his arms became like charred flax, and the bindings dropped from his hands. Grabbing the jawbone of a donkey, Samson unleashed his fury, striking down 1,000 Philistine men. Exhausted and near death from thirst, Samson cried out to God, "You have given your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised?" God answered. He split open a hollow place, and water gushed out. Revived and strengthened, Samson judged Israel for 20 years during the days of Philistine oppression. But pride and desire would become Samson's downfall. In the city of Gaza, Samson visited a prostitute. When the Philistines learned of his presence, they plotted to kill him at dawn. But Samson arose in the middle of the night, tore the city gates from their hinges, massive iron-laden gates, and carried them on his shoulders up to the hill facing Hebron. Despite these miraculous feats, Samson's greatest weakness was not the Philistines. It was his own heart. He fell in love with Delilah, a woman from the valley of Sorek. The Philistine rulers came to her, offering silver in exchange for Samson's secret. 3 times Delilah begged Samson to reveal the source of his strength. 3 times he deceived her. "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings," he said, but it was a lie. "If anyone ties me securely with new ropes," another lie. "If you weave the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric of a loom." Still, deception. Each time Delilah cried out, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you," and each time he snapped free effortlessly. But Delilah was relentless. Day after day, she pressed him with such nagging that his soul grew weary to death. Finally, Samson opened his heart. "No razor has ever been used on my head," he confessed, "because I have been a Nazirite dedicated to God from my mother's womb. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man." Seeing that he had told her everything, Delilah lulled him to sleep on her lap. A man shaved off the 7 braids of his hair. Then came the cry, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke, but his strength was gone. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him to Gaza. Bound in bronze shackles, he was put to work grinding grain in prison, a humiliated shadow of the mighty warrior he once was. But in the darkness of his captivity, Samson's hair began to grow again. One day, the Philistine rulers held a great festival to honor their god, Dagon, for delivering Samson into their hands. Thousands gathered in the temple, including all the lords of the Philistines. They brought Samson out to entertain them, mocking the fallen hero. Led by a young boy, Samson asked to be placed between the central pillars of the temple. Then he prayed, a prayer from the depths of his broken spirit. "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Bracing himself against the pillars, Samson pushed with all his might. The temple groaned, then collapsed, killing Samson and all those gathered there. In death, Samson killed more Philistines than he had during his life. His brothers and father's household came to retrieve his body, and he was buried between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of Manoah, his father. Thus ended the life of Samson, a man of incredible strength and tragic weakness, whose story remains a timeless reminder of the cost of straying from God and the mercy that awaits even in our darkest hour. Thank you for watching. If Samson's journey touched your heart, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful Bible stories brought to life. What lesson from Samson's life stood out to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay strong in your faith.